Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Facebook Live. I am Joanne Anderson. I'm a communications specialist here at the Office of Injured Employee Counsel. And today I have Yolanda Garcia. She is our first responder liaison, and we're happy to have her. And today we're going to be talking about kind of a little bit about the first responder help that we provide for first responders across Texas with their workers' compensation claims. And of course, all of our customers are very important to us and we give help to them on their workers' compensation claims. But for our first responders, there are some unique laws that only apply to them. For example, cancer can sometimes be a work-related injury for first responders. And there are just some other laws that are particular to them. And so a few legislative sessions ago, there was a bill passed that actually created a particular role within our agency, the Office of Injured Employee Counsel, and it is our first responder liaison position. And Yolanda was appointed to that position, and so she's been helping for several years, in particular with our first responders. And she was chosen for that role because she had some unique skills and experience that made her a really good choice for that position. And so tell us a little bit about your background.
So I have 18 years of workers' comp experience in assisting, educating, and advocating in behalf of the injured employees to include first responders. I have held a role of a customer service representative. I've been an ombudsman. I've been a team lead. I've been a manager for docketing and also a regional manager for the customer support specialist. And lastly, the regional manager for the ombudsman in the state of Texas. Prior to my experience to workers' compensation, I held a role of a jail administrator over a county jail, of which also consisted of first responders. The appointment role as a first responder liaison is profoundly special to me, as I am not only a wife, but a sister to first responders who are both police officers.
That's great. You definitely were the right choice for this role, and I know that your experience has really helped first responders across the state. So, to start out with, since this may be a new subject for some of the people that are listening today, so who exactly would be a first responder?
A first responder would be a peace officer, police officer, firefighter, a firefighter volunteer, a deputy, detention, or correctional officer. This law is a little complex in this area, so when in doubt, you can reach out to us.
Okay, that's great. That definitely gives us kind of a basis in that area. And then I know that not every injured employee that's a first responder would need to reach out to our agency and to you as our first responder liaison, but when would a first responder need to contact OIEC?
Typically, it's whenever you receive a written denial notice from the insurance carrier, and or if you're being prohibited from being able to obtain or retain either medical services or monetary benefits for being off of work, whichever one is applicable. It is very important that there is a diagnosis at that time that would allow us to move forward with a process in a dispute.
Okay, and so basically, if there's a dispute, if there's like some sort of a, if the, if it seems like things aren't being able to be resolved easily with maybe the insurance carrier, then they could definitely contact you.
Yes, and with that, it is very important that the injured parties maintain communication and build a good rapport with their adjuster, because it is through the adjuster that any requests, they're overseen by them, and they're the ones to approve or deny. Of course, if there's a dispute that you are unable to resolve, we're here to assist you at no charge. And you can feel free to either email us, call us, and definitely go to our website.
Great. Okay, well, that definitely helps our first responders. And so, do you personally handle all of the first responder disputes as the first responder liaison?
In a way, I am involved personally in handling all the first responder claims, as my role as a first responder liaison is to oversee any OIC staff through the dispute resolution process. That begins with our customer support specialist who assist in obtaining the preliminary information that is needed for the ombudsman. Then I oversee it through the ombudsman program, through the dispute resolution process, case development through the proceeding level.
Okay, great. So with the injured employees that you're helping, and I know that there can, at any point in time, there might be like 150 of them active cases that you're kind of overseeing. What types of disputes are you tending to see with these first responders?
Our repeats are extent of injury and maximum medical improvement. Those are consistently issues that we assist with.
Okay. And so with max medical improvement, what can you talk a little bit more about what that is and what kind of disputes come out with that?
Definitely. So maximum medical improvement in layman's terms is the best that you're going to be for the compensable injury. That means that the doctor has assisted in providing medical care to the fullest, and you are the best you're going to be. So that's how they arrive with that date.
Okay. And then as far as the impairment rating that goes along with the max medical improvement date, that would be something that definitely can be disputed if somebody doesn't agree with that.
That's correct.
Okay. And then as far as those are kind of the more routine cases that you're seeing, or most routine disputes that you're seeing, what are some of the more complex ones that you see?
So the complex issues that we see are any occupational injuries, which could be exposure injuries, repetitive trauma injury, cancers, COVID-19, mental disorders, heart attacks and strokes.
Okay. And so if they have a dispute on one of those things, again, they can reach out to you for help on those issues. And
Yeah, and I'd like to add on that anytime we are dealing with a complex issue, we do have first responder regionals in each region of our offices who specifically are assigned for these complex issues.
that's great. So the experienced ombudsman will be able to help with those more complex issues. That's great. So as far as, kind of knowing when a first responder, who is a first responder, when they might contact OIC, and some of the more common issues and then complex issues they might have, what are a few things that you'd really like for our first responders to know or be mindful of as they, related to their workers' compensation injury and dispute?
So it's the little things that become big things, and there's two very important statutory deadlines that must be met under the workers' compensation system with a regulatory agency who is the Division of Workers' Compensation. And that is in efforts to preserve your rights. So the first one would be reporting to your supervisor within 30 days of an injury, and or reporting 30 days of when you knew you should have known if it's an occupational disease. The second prong to that is that you have to report it to the Division of Workers' Compensation within 1 year. And it is also 1 year from a specific event and or 1 year from when you knew you should have known on an occupational disease. It is super, super important that these are met. If these are not met, then it could relieve the liability from the insurance carrier on this workers' compensation injury claim.
Got it. So 30 days to report to your employer, 1 year to file that form with the regulator, DWC. Just got to do it. Got to do it so that way, if there's any issues down the road, that particular situation has been covered. So we can't say that enough. And thank you again for highlighting that. And again, like you said earlier, communication definitely key. We want to keep that line of communication open between the injured employee, the insurance carrier, the doctor, the employer. We know that these are difficult times for our injured employees and that sometimes that's something that's difficult, but it's so important. And you mentioned that, sometimes the little things become the big things, and sometimes communication alone can help to make sure that those little things just stay little things and maybe even get resolved. And then again, just active participation in a claim, correct? Like making sure that if there's deadlines or any actions that need to be taken or maybe medical documentation that's needed.
Absolutely. So if you have any of that information, that would definitely speed up the process and us being able to move forward with assistance. When that information is obtained and provided, it just speeds up the process a little bit.
That's great. That's great advice for our injured employees. So thank you so much for joining us today, Yolanda. You've been really helpful in kind of fine tuning and making everybody understand what your role is. And it's an important one here at the Office of Injured Employee Counsel. For those of you that would like some additional information, you can go to our website, which is oiec.texas, all spelled out, texas.gov. And if you go to our homepage, there is an icon on that front page that kind of near the bottom that says First Responder Liaison. And if you click on that icon, it'll take you to a page that has Yolanda's information, both the phone number, the direct phone number, as well as the email address. And I will say that she's mentioned in the past to me that email address can be really helpful, right?
Yes, that's correct. If you email and provide me information, I'm going to be better prepared, and I probably will process it a little quicker with more detailed answer to your concern or your request.
Awesome. So definitely feel free to use that email address that's there. And in addition to that, there's lots of resources and additional information, as well as a video of one of the successful cases that we've helped, as far as one of our firefighters that was successful in her dispute. But please go there for any information. And if you are a first responder with a dispute, please feel free to reach out to Yolanda, and then she will, like she said, oversee that dispute if it's necessary. So thank you so much for joining us today and learning a little bit about this part of our agency, and we hope you have a great day.
Thank you for having me, and it's an honor to be able to hold this role, and I'm here to assist and educate and advocate in your behalf. Thank you.